So I don't know if he'll end up playing running back or kind of Utah State has that exact position in their offense. They're playing a running back or converted running back in Kennedy Williams a lot on offense. At Utah State, they've got Gerald Bright that kind of goes back and forth between running back and wide receiver. Obviously Tony Lindsay and some of those guys are kind of that same size. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that Josh Davis could be a really successful running back in the Mountain West. I think it's absolutely possible and um, could actually happen in the next couple of years, absolutely, because I think he does have some of those skills that Britton Covey has with a quick change of direction, the quick stopping on a dime and those kind of plays. The only guy I can compare him to is Britton Covey, so that's why I'm throwing out the Covey name, the hallowed Covey name, according to Ute fans. Maybe I don't know. So that's kind of breakdown of a couple guys. I don't know if you've watched much, Seth, as far as any local guys that kind of caught your eye. I guess I could maybe finish up real quick with East. I mean, they've got a couple guys that hardly see the field that are pretty big time recruits. They're getting offers from all three in-state programs, and they don't even really get much playing time. Um, I'll talk about the seniors real quick. I don't want to talk this whole podcast, Seth. I'll let you talk too, but they've got a guy named AJ Aloa. He's number 23 for East. He got an offer this summer from Utah State. He's all of 6'3", and he's playing cornerback for East. He's a kid that has really good size. I think he's going to get bigger and bigger, and he's pretty big, especially for a cornerback. That's just happens to be what he's playing right now. He didn't even really play much at wide receiver or any other position, but they're pretty loaded at some of the other positions. Um, so I was really impressed with AJ Lowe more than anything, just his size and athleticism. I think he could end up being a couple positions in college. So it'll be interesting to see if he grows out of not only cornerback, which he already has, but also safety and what he ends up playing in college. So we'll see. A guy that I've liked for a couple years now, even when he was playing at West High School, Jordan Lolohea. He's at East High School now, and he's a guy that I've always really liked because the guy has just been a really tough pass rusher. He's got size, he's got speed. He's got to be one of the toughest guys to block in the state because he's coming around that edge as well as anybody. He's not quite as well. I definitely I put him along with probably five or six of the other guys that are kind of outside linebacker, defensive end type guys that I think they're going to be good football players. Whoever gets those guys is going to get some good players. I think they're going to be able to contribute. Some of those guys I think could come into Utah State. Some are Michigan guys, some are not, obviously. But out of those five or six guys, I think those guys could come in and contribute right away at Utah State. And if they go somewhere else, they're going to have to wait a few years at least to contribute. So I mean that's definitely the benefit of going to Utah State. You've seen it with guys like Ian Tongiai. You've seen it with some of the guys at Utah State that have come in and played right away. Even walk-ons are coming in and playing quite a bit at Utah State. Um, so definitely some exciting things going on in the state of Utah. I may be forgetting somebody that's a senior at. I think the three seniors I was gonna talk about. Yeah, it was Jalen Warren on East, Jordan Lolohea, and AJ Aloa. It seems like, funny enough, I joke that Utah State has three, uh, basically a every year they need to sign 3 guys from East High School, or at least recruit really hard 3 guys from East High School every year, and I think that's probably next year will be the year because or the year that more guys get offers because basically the whole offensive line or the best offensive linemen they're they're juniors right now. So those guys are going to be really good. Also quite a few offers I think will come their way, and some of those East guys have already committed to BYU in different places. So that'll be a tough battle, but I think if they try to get 3 guys from East every year, I think they'd be doing pretty well. So those are my three, even 3 seniors they've got, and then at least 3 linemen that are juniors. There's a couple guys that I was really impressed with that I'll probably talk about more in the future, but we'll stick with those seniors for now and move on since I've been rambling and rambling for like 20 minutes. Um, but let me just finish with that, I guess. How that applies to Utah State, I think, is those 5 offensive linemen. They're not the tallest guys. They're not the measurable guys. They just put 5 guys out there that can move. They can block. They can run. They're nasty. And I think that Utah State has to do the same thing. They can't just recruit a bunch of 6'6", 6'7" guys and expect to make them into offensive linemen all the time. So that's how I would tie it back to Utah State. Is Utah State needs to get out and run block. They need to take advantage of Myers and Lindsey and Hervey and use some of these guys to run the ball down Colorado, the Colorado States and the Fresno States and the Nevadas of the world. They need to take advantage of that and really impose their will. So far this year, they just haven't done that, other than maybe Weber State. Um, so any thoughts, Seth, about recruiting, or did you want to kind of touch on what happened against Boise State or anything?
Yeah, just real quick with follow up on the Warren and Smith um, deal there. Obviously, Utah State hasn't offered either of those kids yet.
Davis, you
Um,
mean? Davis
Davis, I'm
Warren?
sorry, yeah. Um, so I think the difference is that you know, and you kind of mentioned it. Davis he's a lot he's versatile, and like you said, Warren, he could be maybe, but you just don't see it, and that could be holding him back from the offers. Rolling in on him. He's fast. I mean, do you want every running back to have breakaway speed? I mean, Mays doesn't really have breakaway speed. Um, can he pick up the tough yards? We always need a running back that can pick up tough yards. Um, but the way I see it is if maybe they're, you know, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just throwing this out there, but if they see Davis more of a slot guy, then does it come down to numbers? Do they have the numbers? I mean, they got Lewis right now as a true freshman. He's playing. You got Bright. Um, you had another kid from East coming back from his mission that should be back
Curtis,
in
yeah.
Curtis, couple months. He'll probably play the slot position. So it might come down to numbers. I don't know if Davis is a mission kid. I don't think he is.
Hmm.
Um, so, if they just see him at slot, they don't think he can be running back, which I think he can be. Like you said, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but Pumphrey's not the biggest guy in the world. I think they got Pumphrey listed at 180 pounds. I bet you he weighs maybe 160, but well, not 160. He probably goes 170, but he runs in the middle in between the tackles like he's 200 pounds. It just depends on how tough the guy is and the style of running he has. I'm not comparing those two. I'm not,
Hmm.
you know, saying I'm just throwing that out there that weight's not everything. We've had big backs in the past and they couldn't pick up a yard. So, you know, it that doesn't really matter. Um, you get
Yeah,
to go to a
I
lot.
don't think it. I mean, if you're going by if you turn on the TV or if you drive around and watch high school football in Utah, I mean, it's going to be tough for you to convince me that you would take a guy right now to start a team with. It's going to be tough for me to believe that you wouldn't take Josh Davis. Is and I'm saying whether it's a high school or um, college football team that you're just trying to, you've got an allotment of 11 guys, or 22 guys that you're trying to take from the state of Utah to make an all-star team or whatever. It's really, really hard for me to think you wouldn't take Josh Davis. You're gonna find a place for him in your offense. And same thing with for you to coach as a coach. If I was a coach at Utah State or any school, I would want to coach Josh Davis. So that's just the way I look at it. Obviously, I'm not the expert. I'm not a coach. Maybe we'll talk more about coaching in general this podcast because there are some kind of interesting things going on right now. But yeah, and they're both really fun to watch. I mean, if you have a chance to turn on YouTube on Friday or turn on some of their games that have been, whether it's highlights or full game on YouTube and different things, definitely turn it on and watch it. It's worth it to check them out. Um, so I'll keep watching. I think I'm gonna go check out Highland on Thursday. Um, Highland's got a guy that Ismail Vaifu that Utah State's offered, and a couple guys that they could look at. So I'll definitely check out that game this week. I may or may not go to a game on Friday, and then obviously driving to Fort Collins on Saturday. So just a fun week. Fun week. This is unfortunately for my wife. This is what um, I'd. There's nothing I'd rather be doing on a fall week or fall day than going to watch football. So, um, what else you got, Seth?
Just real quick, with the commits that we have right now, Columbia, he played last week. They got through a first half before Lightning canceled the game again. It's 2 weeks in a row that they've had that happen to him. Talked to his dad a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
they opened it up. They were winning. I can't remember what the score was, but he threw for like 250 yards and 3 scores in the first half. Um, they got some receivers on that team that I don't know if we're gonna be looking into, or I know the coaches know about him. I've talked to his dad, and they know about him, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
One's a Kentucky commit, and that would be he's last name's Ali, Josh Ali. He's a stud. But they got some younger guys too, 2018 class. So who knows what will happen there.
Kentucky might
With
not have the same coach this year, so
yeah,
we'll
they're
see
kind
how
of
that works out.
that'll be up in the air as well. So we'll see how that goes. Evans, they had their rival game last week. They ended up getting beat. Um, Evans, he's had really good year. I don't know exactly all what happened during that game. Just looked at the box scores and whatnot. He hasn't really turned the ball over at all this year until that last game. I think he had maybe 2 or 3 picks. He had a couple touchdown passes. Um, he rushed the ball a little bit, from the quarterback position. But again, he was recruited to Utah State as an athlete. I think he'll get a shot at quarterback at Utah State.
Mm-hmm.
It might be an uphill battle for him, but we'll see where they move him, either to receiver or someplace on defense. But he's legit. You said you saw him at the Air Force game, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And he he looks the part. Anyway, that's what I've been hearing. So um,
Yeah.
another guy that Utah State's offered, DeAnthony Hopkins out of Blinn Junior College. Um, he just had a monster game his last game, rushed for 370 yards and 4 touchdowns, which is kind of that's he hasn't been putting up even 100-yard games due to there's another running back that they play quite